This video is a quick refresher for Cerner users at University of Louisville Hospital. Meant to be a brief refresher and certainly not meant to replace training. First and most importantly, let me show you what the My Experience button at the top of the screen does. This is an important first step before beginning, as it will customize your view based on your specialty. This side of the screen will enable you to choose your front page when you log in, and this side of the screen enables you to pick your specialty. This is important as it will enable all of the workflow tabs to be seen on your screen. These are the workflow tabs right here. Patient summary screen, admit, manage workflow, which is an easy way to create notes. This is the traditional quick orders page for quick and easy ordering. Discharge workflow, this is a new workflow page, which we'll go over in a second. And this is a new tab called Calculators, where you can use the latest scoring systems and also bring them into your note. Next, I will really briefly cover a patient list and how to set that up. I think the easiest way at ULH is to use this little wrench to set up a list. I've set up some various lists here. You click New to start a new list. I think the easiest way is to click Provider Group, go down to the ULH Provider Groups, as it will include all the attendings most of the time in those groups. Pick that group by clicking in the box, and then filter down your location to ULH. Call it whatever you like, and then click Finish. Then we move it over to our active lists, click OK, and there it is. Next, I will talk about Message Center. Very briefly, this is where you get your messages to sign notes or orders. I won't go through the workflow of that, but you can see here little headers of what to sign, and they'll be listed right here. Other than signing notes in Message Center, the most important things that a physician will need to know how to do right away, of course, is to do orders and to do notes. Over here is on the left side toolbar here. In order to add an order, click Add here. Add a document, you can click Add here, or you can use the workflow tabs, which we'll go through in a second. I'm going to go ahead and add in orders to show you a few things. You click Add, and then like a Google search bar will come up. Sorry, this is a test patient I'm on here. I'm going to go ahead and click an admission order. At ULH are separate from the rest of the admission orders. That is, the order to admit is separate. It is important to note that you cannot or should not add any favorites to this power plan, and it should be left in this state. As you can see the warning here, they will be periodically cleaned of any favorites if there are added. You click Admit, and it will only let you choose one, and then you need to fill in the boxes. If you're not going to use an order set that you've looked up, you decide to use a different one, make sure that you remove it, as it will end up being a planned plan if you do not and you sign another order. Next, real briefly, I want to show you the code status orders. Any order other than full code will need to be co-signed by an attending if written by a resident. And lastly, I want to go over power plans. At ULH, we have developed power plans specifically for ULH based on the power plans elsewhere in Kentucky One, with some edits and new functionality. You cannot use your favorites from other facilities at ULH, and will need to rebuild your own favorites here. A prefix is placed on every power plan. You'll see this little, I call it pizza box. That means it's a power plan. I'll pick one, for example, just to show you what it looks like. Click Done unless I want to do another order. Here is a power plan. Go through and check what you'd like to order. In order to add a favorite to a power plan, you click, or add an order to a power plan and save as a favorite, you click Add to Phase, add the order. Just real quickly, that will add that to the power plan, fill in the details for the order, and then you will save as my favorite down here. Note that when you save this as a favorite, the order will be pre-checked. You'll need to go back into your favorite and uncheck it and resave, unless you want it pre-checked every time you order that plan. Also important to note, when down here at the bottom right of the screen, if you click Initiate, that power plan will immediately be active. Or if you sign or orders for signature and sign, that plan will be in a planned state and will need to be initiated at a later time. If you are going to plan a power plan, we recommend adding something in the comments so that the nurse or whoever initiates it knows when to initiate that plan. Just like that. Okay, moving on, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that plan like so. Hit remove. One last thing about power plans, we have employed multi-phase power plans at our facility. Many of the surgery plans have multiple phases, the first phase being a PACU phase, and the second phase being the admission orders after the PACU phase is complete. You'll see here, this is the PACU phase, the first phase that comes up. On the left side of the screen, you see the phases of the plan. That's the PACU phase. This is the rest of the plan that looks like admission orders. If you are, many of the surgery plans have this as their admission plan. If there is no PACU phase, you can skip that phase and just fill out the orders in the other phase. In the interest of time, we will move on and go to documentation. You can either add a document this way, clicking Add on the side, which is the original way. This is the type of note right here. And this is the template, and these are the templates here. So if I was going to do a progress note for medicine, the new templates that we've used are medicine H&P and medicine progress note. You can also flip that to favorites and just see the ones you've starred. Let's hit a medicine progress note, click OK, and you'll see that the fields pull in. Labs will pull in automatically into this fishbone skeleton here. Medications are pulled in, allergies, vitals, and all other I's and O's. Okay, we cancel and discard this and go to the workflow end pages and show you the same thing. This is another way. This patient summary screen is a good, quick, easy way to see labs and data on the patient. The Admit Manage Workflow tab is meant to review data or write a note at the same time. These tabs over here can be moved. This page is meant to emulate workflow and not necessarily the order of a note, so that you may want to, when you're pulling up a patient, have your vitals and labs documents near the top, or depending on what workflow you use. As you scroll down the page, you can see labs, allergies, histories, outstanding orders, so forth. Okay, back to the top of the screen. If I wanted to make this a note, I could put in a chief complaint, put in my subjective history, review of systems. There are many shortcuts here. Call those auto text. I'm going to scroll down. You can tag and pull in labs and reports as you go. Here's diagnoses on the screen now, which I won't go into. My physical exam, I've got at the bottom of the page, but you can put it anywhere you like. We do have some new smart template auto text created for ULH. The PE resident or review systems resident is a large and complete review systems and physical exam meant to be checked or unchecked, plus or minus. You'll see at the top it says indicate yes or no, plus or minus rest. You can hit F3 to go through these, like so. Let's make sure we save all of our notes that we added. And then at the bottom we hit create note. We pick the type of note, and that data is pulled into the note. From here I can edit in any of the text fields that I like. From here I can either sign and submit or save. If I sign and submit, the document can only be very minimally edited. That is, there are sections that can be deleted, but it cannot be, nothing can be added here. If I save it as an active document, then it can be edited further. Saved documents can be seen on the chart by others, so if a resident saves a document, an attending can go in and take that document and do some more edits. So I'm going to sign and submit. If I was a resident doing this and I wanted to forward this note to my attending, whose is Dr. Test, then this is the way I would do that. Let's say test hospitalist. Notice that it's defaulted to review. I would make sure and change that to sign. Hit sign, that signs the note and sends it to the my attending to sign. Alternatively, if I save it, I can also forward it to an attending to review. That same pop-up screen appears. Now we will briefly go through the discharge workflow tab, which is just like the admission manage workflow tab, except it is meant to go through the steps of discharge and to create a discharge summary by the physician. You'll see the tabs just like in the previous discussion with the adult manage workflow tab, but leading you down a path to make sure that you have your diagnoses here, your discharge orders. You can add your discharge order power plan here. Click order, go up to the little green cart, click on that and hit modify, and then there are required fields in the discharge power plan. This looks ominous, but there are really only a few orders that you must do. You have to decide where the patient's going to go. This is off the screen, but I'm clicking discharge to home right here. Discharge general instructions will has other possibilities for some details. Discharge activity and so forth. Discharge diet, fill that out. Again, I'm going fast. You can pause and rewind the video if you need. If the patient's going home on warfarin, if there's stroke or heart failure, here are instructions here to fill out, and there are contraindications down here that we should fill out if we're not going to treat the patient according to the sentences here. For example, if you're sending the patient home that's had a stroke and you're not sending them on a statin, you'll need to say why I'm not doing that. Then I sign my orders. Go back to my, okay, we have done our orders. Scrolling down, this is where we would fill out our Casper information, which is a power form. Won't do that here. I skipped the hospital course, kind of an important part. We can save that. That would be a lot longer. If you have Dragon, it's a good place to dictate in here. When we get down to the home meds section, this is where we should do our discharge med reconciliation. This is what this screen looks like. I'm not going to go into the detail, which should be covered in training, but this is how you would prescribe meds or stop meds when they go home. It's pretty self-explanatory. When I get to the bottom, I can create my note. I'm going to choose a discharge summary, my discharge note. It's created for me. I would save and close in case if I'm a resident and I want my attending to edit it before it's finally signed, or sign and submit like I went through before. Same process. The very last thing I want to talk about is auto text creation, which is available when you open any note, and that's this little box here. To do a new auto text creation, you click the little note with the star on it. Let's put in an abbreviation. I always start my abbreviations with a dot, so it's a dot phrase. Let's do test attestation. This is an attending attestation statement I want to do. We'll call it attestation, and we'll put in details into this box here. In order to put any details, that is the text that you're creating, you hit the little letters with the plus, little A with the plus, and I can type in my text here or copy and paste from a Word document into this box. So I can say I saw and evaluated the patient, and I click OK, and then I can save it if I like it and close. I'm going to discard it at this point, but this is how you would do that. Again, you can copy and paste from a Word document in here. You can have a rather large document that you can paste into this box, and have large dot phrases that could be an entire note, an LP procedure, paracentesis, circumcision, whatever procedure note. It's easy to do and very time-saving if you can create a lot of these dot phrases to make your workflow easier. Many physicians will create their own dot phrases for physical exam, review of systems, and procedures. Okay, it is that easy. Finish discarding this. Okay, so real brief overview, what a physician needs to know. You need to be able to see the data on the patient. You need to be able to write an order. And you need to be able to write a document. I know I've gone quickly here. You can pause and rewind any portion of the video.